Okay, so getting back into our coverage over Spawn Sundays, we do pick up with Spawn right now, currently watching over the daughter of Terry and Wanda, Cyan. Now, when it comes to Cyan, the reason why you have Spawn watching over her, because she constantly reminds Spawn that he was technically a failure when it came to the idea of giving Wanda a child. Because when it came to Wanda, she always wanted a child with Al Simmons, but unfortunately, he was unable to do that. Then he died. And so right after he died, she got remarried to his best friend Terry, and Terry was able to give her what she wanted, a child. And they now are a happy family. And so when it comes to Spawn, when he looks at Cyan, it's just a constant reminder that he was unable to give his wife, or ex-wife, the one thing she truly did want. Now, that is the moment where you do have Spawn confront Terry. Now, the reason why he is confronting Terry is because Terry and Spawn have been working together to bring down Jason Wynn. The problem is, though, Terry is playing the long game, and Spawn cannot play the long game at all. He wants to go ahead and take Jason Wynn out now. And so when it comes to Terry, he's all like, dude, you have gotten so dark, so scary, you have completely changed from the man I used to know before he had died. Now, when it comes to Spawn, that's the thing though. He died and he was brought back to life again as a hellspawn, a demon. And so he's all like, dude, you have no idea what I went through. You have no idea hearing the idea that Jason Wynn has something to do with my death. And the thing is, I want to get my revenge, but here you are, want to play the long game for unknown reasons, want to make sure that Jason Wynn does look bad. I just want to go ahead and kill him off. Now, Spawn has to leave. And the reason why, because Wanda has no idea that Terry and Spawn are currently working together. And so if she does see them working together, it's going to show that Terry is a liar. But at the same time, we have to remember, the last time Wanda saw Spawn, Spawn scared the you-know-what out of her, because how he was going after different gangsters to protect her. But at the same time, Homeboy did appear in her house unannounced and said, "It's me, it's Al." And it's kind of like, dude, you are a scary looking dude claiming to be her ex-husband. How do you think she was going to feel? And so you have Spawn just leave. But Wanda knows that Terry is up to something. Either way, in the morning, you have Terry leave for work and you have Wanda stay behind with Cyan. And so we then see Spawn go back over to Rat City. Now, when he does go back over to Rat City, we have to remember that this is a small area in New York where a lot of homeless people go to live at, but at the same time, this is a territory that Spawn has claimed for himself, saying that he'll do his best to protect this area and protect the people in this area from any kind of harm. Now, with that being said, in this area, he does have a throne where he goes to sit on to think about the different things going on in his life currently. Like right now, Spawn is having a hard time dealing with the idea that he has to work with his ex-wife's new husband, Terry, who was his best friend, but now feels like his best friend has been betraying him in different kinds of ways. But at the same time, he wants to take out Jason Wynn, but being told to have some patience and wait for the right time. Now, you do have Spawn remind us of another character, and that would be Major Forsberg. Now remember, when it comes to the Major, he was actually somebody that had a huge connection to Jason Wynn. And the only thing we learned is that Jason Wynn killed off the Major's entire family and then have him locked up in a different prison in a different country for many, many years to break the guy mentally. Now, we had no idea why Jason did that, but of course he did do it. And so when it comes to Spawn and Terry, they were hoping that the Major would be able to give them some kind of ideas of how to bring down Jason Wynn, or some kind of evidence that could ruin Jason Wynn's career in the CIA. Unfortunately, the guy is too gone far mentally. And so Spawn saying, when I come back, I better see you being ready to tell me everything about Jason Wynn and why he came after you and how can we bring him down. And you have Spawn just leave and go back into the city. And so we finally jump over to Jason Wynn, who is currently in his office meeting up with some guys that he had working for him to figure out who is trying to bring him down, because Jason realized that somebody in his department is trying to ruin him and he has no idea who. And so when it comes to the two guys that he had hired to figure out who it was, he found out it was actually Terry through them. And so now it's Jason saying, oh, my new guy Terry has been secretly trying to gather information about me and trying to bring me down. That is not okay at all. And so now it's Jason saying it's time for me to deal with Terry once and for all. Now we do jump back over to Wanda, and when we do, is Wanda really just in her house minding her business until she gets a phone call. Now when it comes to this phone call, when she does answer it, well, she does not hear anyone else on the other side, and she's kind of like, okay, that's weird, and hangs up the phone. Now, she does go into her daughter's room to make sure that Cyan is okay, except when she does walk into that room, she apparently sees Spawn, and when she does, it's Spawn holding Cyan, and it's kind of like, yo, wait, why is Spawn here for? Now, out of nowhere, she just faints, just like that. Seeing Spawn holding her daughter, she faints like that. Except when she wakes up, she realized that her daughter has been taken, and the only person that she believes who would take her daughter is Spawn currently at the moment. And so you do have police officers coming to her house and questioning her like, hey, do you have an idea who may have taken your daughter? She says Spawn. And when Terry comes home to find out that his daughter is missing and to find out that Spawn was the one who took his daughter, it's now Terry getting very upset with the idea that Spawn would do that. But at the same time, now you have the police saying, you know what? If you know where Spawn stays at, tell us now and we will be able to bring him down. Now, when Terry is able to tell the police officers where Spawn is staying at, it tells Wanda that Terry has been hiding things from her, that Terry may have been working with Spawn, and that right there ticks her off a lot, because now she realized that her husband has been lying to her for a while. And so when it comes to the police officers, they're saying, you know what? You guys have given us a lot of information about Spawn, where we can find him, but at the same time, what does he look like? And so they're going to go over to Rat City to hopefully find Spawn and to bring him in, to hopefully save Cyan from him. Except when they do arrive in Rat City, they realize that one, Rat City looks horrible. Two, they find the dead body of Cygor, the cybernetic gorilla that was fighting Spawn in our last video. They find his dead body right there. But also they find Spawn's throne. Now remember, his throne is made out of dead bodies just put together, so it looks really nasty and creepy. And so when it comes to our police officers, they're wondering what kind of mess did they step into? But on the rooftop, you have Spawn getting ready to snipe a bunch of police officers. And so you're left to believe that Spawn truly did kidnap Cyan and now trying to keep her away from them so that they will not be able to give her back over to her parents. Now we come to find out that it wasn't Spawn who kidnapped Cyan. It was actually Violator. Now remember, Violator hates Spawn with a passion. And the reason why? Because Spawn was a human that was brought back to life as a Hellspawn to be trained on Earth to one day lead the army of hell against the forces of heaven. And so when it comes to Violator, he hates the idea of humans being reborn as Hellspawns to lead the army of hell. He feels like only demons should be the one to lead the army of hell. And matter of fact, when it comes to Violator, he's more of I should be the one to lead the army of hell against the forces of heaven. And so he's trying to prove to his boss, Malbolgia, one of the many devils in hell, that he's actually a better option than Spawn. And so him kidnapping Cyan is just another way to get at Spawn to have another go at Spawn and to hopefully kill him off, so that he can finally show his boss that he is the better choice. And so we jump into Spawn number 60. Now when we do, we see Terry just holding his wife Wanda, technically worried about the idea that right now Spawn took his daughter Cyan, and he's wondering if his daughter is okay. Now, they have no idea it wasn't Spawn. They believe it is Spawn because Wanda believes she saw Spawn, but in reality it's Violator. But it's still two parents right now worried about the idea if their daughter is actually okay or not. And right now, it's hard for them to just sleep. Now, Wanda, she is asleep, but barely. She barely fell asleep. But at the same time, it's Terry still wide awake, angry at Spawn, angry at Al Simmons, but also worried about his daughter. But getting back over to Spawn, you have Spawn getting ready to kill off all these police officers who had entered into Rat City, except he was stopped by Cagliostro. Now remember, we have no idea what's the deal with Cagliostro, what's his past all about, but we do know that he does know a lot about being a Hellspawn and also angels and demons as well. But he does tell Spawn, do not kill off these police officers. And the reason why? Because they are actually innocent. They only came here because some bad information was fed to them. And so you have Cog tell Spawn, you need to figure out why in the world these officers are here in your area. There has to be a reason. But at the same time, you just can't go around killing people off left and right like this, Spawn. Like, yes, I know you're upset about the idea that you were brought back as a Hellspawn, but killing off random folks is not the right move to make. And so you have Spawn just listen in on the conversation between the police officers. Now, at first, they are talking about the idea that they just found a dead body of a cybernetic gorilla. And so they have no choice but to call this in. Now, after that, they do mention about how Cyan is missing. And with her missing, that tells Spawn, oh my God, something happened to Cyan, which means right now, Wanda is very worried. Now guys, Spawn will always be overprotective over Wanda no matter what. And so to hear the idea that her child, Cyan, has been kidnapped, he's all like, somebody has upset Wanda. That is not okay at all. Now, when it comes to Terry, it's more of who cares. He kind of hates Terry right now. But Wanda, no, no, no. And so it's Spawn saying, okay, I have to find Cyan. Now we do jump back over to Cyan and also Violator. And when we do, we see Violator right now very happy about the idea that he's able to cause a lot of trouble for Jason Wynn, Spawn, and also Terry. But he's also hoping that all the different parties will hopefully sooner or later take each other out. Now, while you have Cyan asleep, he's trying to mix up a poison drink for her to drink to hopefully kill her off. And so as soon as she wakes up, he's hoping that she'll drink this drink and then just die because it is poisonous. But then we jump over to Jason Wynn. Now when we do, it's really more of Jason getting an update on the idea of what's going on with Terry. And you have his guys tell him, hey, we are unable to actually watch over Terry for the moment. And the reason why, because there are a bunch of police officers around his house trying to find his missing daughter, Cyan. Now, when it comes to Jason, he does not care at all about the idea that Terry's daughter is missing. But on top of that, he does not care at all when the guy tells him, hey, by the way, they believe it was Spawn who had kidnapped his daughter. He does not care at all. When it comes to Jason, it's more about the idea of who has Terry been sharing the information that he has been gathering on him? Like, who else has the files that Terry has as well? And so you have Jason tell his guys, I want you to figure out who has Terry been talking to when it comes to bringing me down. And so you have Spawn actually go over to Terry and Wanda's house. Now, when he does arrive, Terry sees him and Terry wants to kill him. He's all like, dude, what did you do with my daughter? Where is she? What happened to her? And so you have Spawn say, back off. It wasn't me, it was somebody else. Now, neither character knows it was actually Violator. Either way, you have Spawn saying, all I need is one of her toys. If I'm able to grab that toy, I should be able to connect to her aura. once I'm able to do that, I should be able to find her no matter what. And when I do, I will bring her back here to you. And so you have Terry just keep Wanda distracted long enough for Spawn to find a toy that belonged to Cyan as a way to find her, except he finds a shoelace. Now, when it comes to this shoelace, it was actually part of Spawn's face after Batman had cut his face open. But either way, when it came to that shoelace, well, Cyan had it as a toy for a little while, kind of like a necklace. And so as soon as Spawn was able to grab that shoelace, he was able to connect to her aura and find her. He's all like, cool, I now know where she's at, and I'll just teleport over there to get her back. And so you have Spawn teleport over to where Violator is holding Cyan. Now, as soon as he arrives, it leads into another battle between these two characters. Now, when it comes to Violator, he tells Spawn, dude, you already know there's no way that you'll be able to actually kill me off. And he's right, because when it comes to demons and angels, there is another step you have to take after just ripping their bodies apart. There is another step after that when it comes to making sure they stay dead. And so when it comes to Violator, he knows that Spawn does not know about the next step in killing off a demon. And so this battle right now is technically pointless, because even if Spawn is able to cut up the body of Violator, he'll just come right back down the road to cause more problems for Spawn and the people around Spawn. Either way, for Spawn, he does not care right now. Right now, he just wants to beat down Violator and get Cyan back home to her parents. So they fight once again. Now, when it comes to Violator, he does lose this battle. Except at the end of the battle, you have Spawn tell Violator, okay, now I'm done with you. I'm going to go after Jason Wynn and also Chapel as well to finally get my revenge against them. Except that is the moment you have Violator tell Spawn, oh, you thought that Jason Wynn and also Chapel were the ones who killed you off? Oh, you are hugely mistaken. I'm going to tell you right now, it was someone else who had killed you off. It wasn't Chapel, it wasn't Jason Wynn, it was somebody else. Now, this could be just Violator right now, just playing mind games with Spawn, because we already know Chapel told him, yeah, it was me who killed you off, but I was ordered to by Jason Wynn. And so Spawn knows it was Chapel who pulled the trigger, but he was ordered by Jason. But here you go right now with Violator saying, no, dude, it wasn't Jason, it wasn't Chapel, it was somebody else. But you know what? I'll never tell you who it is. And so you have Spawn just go ahead and kill off Violator for the time being. Grab Cyan to take her back home to Terry and Wanda. And so you do have Spawn being able to take Cyan back home to Terry and Wanda by putting her in her bedroom so that Terry and Wanda can find their daughter in her room. Now, we could in today's video on this happy note, but we're not going to. We're going to cover Spawn number 61 as well, because technically it is part 3 for the storyline right here. And so getting into Spawn number 61, we do pick up with Terry and Wanda talking to some police officers about the idea that they are happy that Cyan did come back home safely, except now they're gonna go after Spawn. And what's happening now is you have the police of the NYPD going to work alongside with the FBI to hopefully find Spawn and to bring him in for the crimes that he had supposedly commit. Now, here's the thing. Terry really cannot help out Spawn here, because if he does, it's going to tell Wanda for sure that Terry and Spawn have been working together. But at the same time though, he's kind of like, I want to help my best friend now, because now he'll be part of a manhunt for no good reason. And so unfortunately, Terry has to stay quiet and just let these officers say, hey, telling you now, we're going to find Spawn, and when we do, we're going to bring him in, or we are going to kill him. Now, we do jump over to Jason, and when we do, it's just Jason getting more news about Terry, but also Cygor as well, because remember, earlier, the police officers found the dead body of Cygor, and so they had no choice but to call it in. Except when they did call it in, Jason Wynn had his guys take the body of Cygor and transport it somewhere else. And so now Jason has control over Cygor all over again. But on top of that, you have the guys tell Jason, hey, listen, when it comes to Terry, his daughter came back home safely. Except for Jason, he wants to know if they were able to figure out who Terry has been working with. Unfortunately, they were not able to find out. But you do have Jason tell his guys, you know what? I am tired of Terry. I want you guys to wait for the best time and then just kill him off. Get rid of Terry when the best chance comes around. But getting back over to Spawn, we see him currently talking to Cagliostro once again. Now, like I said earlier, we have no idea what's the big deal when it comes to Cagliostro. All we know is that this dude knows a lot about demons and also angels and hell spawns, everything about Spawn and all the different people connected to him. Either way, when it comes to Spawn, we see him trying to get ready to go after Jason Wynn and Chapel. Jason first, then Chapel. And so right now it's him saying, I have to go ahead and kill off Jason now for what he is doing. I'm tired of waiting. It's time for me to go ahead and get my revenge. Now, you also have Spawn mention to Cagliostro what Violator had told him earlier, that basically Jason Wynn was not the person to kill off Spawn. He was not the person who ordered Chapel to kill off Spawn. As a matter of fact, Chapel is innocent. Now, when it comes to Cagliostro, he's all like, dude, he's lying to you. It was Jason Wynn. It was Chapel, the ones who had killed you off. What they're trying to do is control your mind. They're playing mind games. It's one of the many ways the demons and also the devils in hell torture people. It's not just physically, it's also mentally. They're just playing mind games with you. But at the same time, it's Cagliostro saying, you cannot kill off Jason Wynn just yet. And the reason why, because if you do, it is going to lead into a domino effect. And when it comes to this domino effect, a lot more people are going to get hurt. It's going to cause a lot more problems for you and other people around you down the road. The best move to make is just wait patiently and try to work through your anger, because right now, with you being so angry all the time, you're not thinking straight. You're making dumb moves, and those dumb moves are going to cost you very soon. Now, after that, you didn't have Spawn go over to pay a visit to Granny. Now remember, Granny is the grandmother to Wanda, but when Spawn was alive and married to Wanda, Granny loved Al Simmons so much. And so over the last few books, she believes that she's talking to Al Simmons as an angel, not realizing that he is a demon. Now, the reason why she does not know is because she is blind. So for her, it's all like, hey, Al, I hear your voice again. That means you're here to talk to me. And that means you're doing God's work. But in reality, he's doing the devil's work. Either way, when it comes to Spawn, he comes to her for wisdom. And right now, it's Spawn telling her, I feel like I'm a horrible person, that right now I'm doing a horrible job protecting you and also Wanda, Terry, everybody, that I feel like I'm getting darker and darker. And you have her say, no, you're doing a great job. You're a great man. Sometimes you may make mistakes, but at the same time, you have to learn from those mistakes and try to become a better man. And do not believe that you're becoming darker. You may hit a dark path, but sooner or later you're going to hit a brighter path, a light path. And so it's kind of her motivating him to stop being a total jerk to everybody around you and start doing good work to help the ones you love, but to also help yourself as well. Now, when Spawn goes back over to Rat City, he comes to find out that the homeless people in that area have built him a brand new throne. Now, he's very upset at them, and the reason why, because Spawn does not want to put them in any kind of danger at all, because over the last few books, while just being here in Rat City, this area has been attacked a lot of times by different kinds of characters. But you have these guys tell Spawn, hey dude, listen, we don't care. We look at you as our protector, but as a friend. You've been there for us and we've been there for you. And once again, we're trying to be there for you. And so this is Spawn realizing that maybe he has been a jerk a lot lately, that it's okay to let people back in. It's okay to build relationships with people. And so he does tell him thank you, and he sits on his throne to just relax, but he does fall asleep in his throne. And so it leads into Spawn falling asleep. Now, when he does fall asleep, he begins to have visions of, well, Violator, dreams of Violator, telling him like, you thought it was Chapel. You thought it was Jason Wynn, the ones who had killed you off. But in reality, it wasn't them. It was somebody else. And I'll never tell you who it was. And this is what Cagliostro meant earlier, that there's different ways to torture people. And one of those ways is to play mind games with them. And so when it comes to a demon, they're great at that. When it comes to Violator, he's great at that right now because he knows that Spawn has not regained all of his memories just yet. He only remembers certain things and only learned certain things. And so for Spawn, at first, he truly did believe it was Chapel. It was Jason Wynn. Now we already know Chapel did tell him, yes, it was me. I killed you off. I was told to kill you off. I was ordered by Jason Wynn. Except in this dream, you actually have Violator say, but was that real? Did he actually tell you that? Did you imagine that? What if he told you something else, but you didn't hear? You only heard what you wanted to hear. And so again, it's playing mind games with Spawn to the point where he's now questioning everything that has happened to him, but questioning everything he has learned. And this is where we are going to end today's comic book video. So please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.